If you feel like you don't belong, sometimes you act like you don't belong, or you don't feel like that you should be here, this imposter syndrome, if you will. It's hard to kind of push beyond that. You have to have like this greater mental challenge to kind of block that out and realize, hey, I do belong. I don't, just because they're all guys doesn't mean that I shouldn't be here, because I bring something different to the table. I'm me, and I'm just as smart as they are. I'm just as physically as capable as they are. And, I think being in that sphere is so important, bringing diversity to a field, especially in healthcare, for representation matters, not just for people seeing me being a woman in neurosurgery, but talking to my patients.
You are listening to the Pinnacle Podcast, where we empower women in medicine through education, community, and actionable strategies for both the practice and the business of medicine.
Medicine is a lifelong career, and continuing education is crucial for professional development. Pinnacle is the first and only multi-specialty organization dedicated to addressing the challenges that all women in healthcare face.
Welcome to Pinnacle, the elite professional community providing education for women in medicine. At Pinnacle, we challenge you to pave your own path by helping you develop the skills needed to not only stay in medicine, but to excel. Welcome, everyone, to the Pinnacle Prescription Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Rupa Wong, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Dr. Betsy Grunch, an amazing neurosurgeon and a friend. So you probably all know her as Lady Spine Doc on her various social media platforms, especially TikTok, Instagram. But her hope is really to do more than become viral. It's to educate the public about the field of neurosurgery and to inspire young healthcare professionals. She has been named to the top doctors list, under 40 under 40 list, honored as one of Atlanta Magazine's Women Making a Mark in 2023. So she's not just a social media star, obviously like a badass neurosurgeon and a mom of two, mind you. So Betsy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Rupa. I'm excited to be here.
She and I cross paths a lot, Hawaii, Georgia. Sometimes we just miss each other like we did this past summer. But I've loved seeing your trajectory, especially on social media, and the fact that people are getting to know you. But I want to back up, and I want to just start with the meat of it, which I think is the most important. What drew you to the field of neurosurgery in the beginning? Was there a moment or a person, I know you've shared this, but if you wouldn't mind sharing again, that particularly inspired you?
Sure. Yeah. So, for those that follow me, you kind of know my story, but basically I was, like most girls, just kind of loved their mom, loved imitating their mom, wanted to be just like mom. And my mom was a police officer. She was just really an amazing person, loved to help people. And I wanted to be a police officer. And then the week before I was about to start high school, we just got back from our family vacation, and she worked a night shift, and it was a really, really hard part of town that she worked in, a very high crime level area. And she was surveilling a call basically for some people that are on private property. And whenever she went over there to go check it out, the vehicle, her patrol car, was shot at. She ran off the road and struck a tree and was C4 quadriplegic from a fractured cervical spine and a spinal cord injury. So that obviously was very eventful in my young life. I was 13 at the time. And just seeing her go from being a very healthy, active, she bodybuilded, incredibly athletic woman at 34 years old, to being wheelchair bound, never moving again for, the rest of her life, was very hard on all of us. She was total care. And, I just really I was like, I was not accepting of that. I was like, I am going to cure spinal cord injury. That's it. That's what my destiny is. And, so I became interested in medicine, shadowed her neurosurgeon, went to medical school, and I went to medical school to become a neurosurgeon. That was everything I wanted to do. And, fast forward and here I am. So
it's an amazing story, but also I don't think people, maybe they do understand, but obviously a very big pivot from being a police officer to go into one of the most rigorous most challenging, most difficult to match into programs in neurosurgery. How did you know? What kept you sustained, like that you could do this, that you were capable?
I mean, my mom always was my inspiration, always told me I could do whatever I wanted, and was always supportive of me. And I mean, I have always been, kind of naturally, like always at the top of my class, always did well on tests, that kind of thing. So I really wasn't worried about the academic stuff. And I really loved learning about neuroscience the more I kind of learned about her injury and stuff. So I knew that I could do it, from an academic standpoint. And I just had a passion for it. And I really loved helping people. And along the way, just kind of learning more and more about it. Of course, I had my mind open and wasn't like 100% hard stop on it. I'm like, I'm going to kind of explore my options, but my heart has always been in that particular field. And I just really enjoy taking care of patients with neurological injury. So the more I kind of progressed, you've been through medical school and residency. I mean, like, you just follow your passion and your heart and what really keeps you going. And that was it for me. And so all the things that we come along and objects in your path, you just keep going.
I love that. And I'm sure that's going to inspire. That right there will inspire so many, just having that sense of purpose that you continued, that your mom was your North Star, right? That she anchored you in that way to go
and she
on.
still is. I mean, it's been 20, I can't remember how many years later. And she's still here with us, and she's still quadriplegic, but she's always been that person for me. So.
And then it's come full circle too, right? I know you've mentioned to me that don't you work in a similar place where, your town that you grew up in? Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I stayed I'm from Georgia. I was born and raised here, went to college pretty close by, went to medical school in the same state, and went away from my residency. But I just I knew that I wanted a family. My whole family is in this town. And so when I got out of residency, I came back to actually the practice that my mom's surgeon was at. So he's since retired, but I was his partner for about 8 years before he retired. So the surgeon that walked into our room when I was 13 and told me that my mom would never walk again became my partner. And I practice at the same hospital that I was born in. So yeah, it's a cool experience because I get to take care of, people I went to high school with, their parents. People know my family. My whole family lives here. So it's just very it's a big town. Now it's growing, but I mean, it's still a home feel for me, and people just feel, closer to me, and that because I'm the hometown girl. So it's been good, and I really love it. So.
Well, I had the chance to visit there in August, and I loved it too. It was really, it just was so welcoming. It seems like such a great town. And I think one thing that you and I do in these smaller communities, me in Hawaii, even though I didn't grow up here, my husband did. And it really is different taking care of your community. My husband will take care of his high school friends like you, the parents of his elementary school friends, people from his water polo team. And I think there's just something really special about that and serving our community in that way. And that's awesome that you didn't go to a big city and you're helping in that way. I know it makes your call crazy, and we're going to get to that in a second. I've seen all the different hospitals you have to travel to. But all right, so you were on this, practicing neurosurgery. What initially drew you to decide to start posting on social media, start sharing all of this on social media?
It wasn't like a purpose that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the next medical person on social or whatever. But I've always been like most of us, love to engage in content, watch stuff on Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case is. And I just really, but during the pandemic, particularly, is when things kind of slowed down for my practice, and I had more time. And so I made a few videos at that time. And one of the videos I made about being a woman in neurosurgery went viral. And I just really enjoyed the engagement that I got from the video. The comments, the questions, and I thought, oh, it was unexpected because I didn't know how the platforms worked, and just the ability to reach so many people is just really intriguing to me. So I started just kind of like in a physician type way. I started doing my research on like how to post, like what is going to engage people. And I challenged myself to post every day for 3 months and just kind of see what happened. And so I did that on TikTok, and I quickly grew 100,000 followers in 3 months, which I thought was pretty good. And then I just really enjoyed the ability to have this platform to reach people that were thirsty for knowledge about our field and medicine and being a woman and being a mom and all the things. And so, yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
Well, I love it. And, I'm such a fan of yours in person and online, and I've texted you about things all the time as well. But how do you manage that balance? Because you're one of the other few people who also posts a lot of personal content, a lot of fun content. It's not just educational, though it's there. You're certainly doing your Sunday case series, and you're posting a lot of really informative content for people about spinal injuries and neurosurgery and in general. But you also have really fun things with your family and with your staff. So how do you make that balance?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's more of like a sustainability. I mean, I am a physician, but I'm not just a physician. I'm a mom. I am a friend. I have a life outside of medicine. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of follow me to, see what that's like, because we're not just physicians. And so I found it like, to be successful in social media, you also have to be able to sustain that pace of posting content. And if I just sat here and posted medical content after medical content, I would probably get sick of it, because sometimes I get sick of what I talk about at work all day. So sometimes I want to talk about something else, and I want to talk about something fun, and I want to do a dance or whatever. Yep. And I think it normalizes us as humans, and it makes us more relatable. And, I try to be cautious. I mean, I know some people have very strong beliefs about their kids, and I try to be as careful as I can, but my kids really like it too. So, it's just fun. And I just want to make it about, my platform is about me as a multi-fold of what I do and what I bring to the table. And it's worked for me. And, like you said, it doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people don't like sharing their life, and that's their ability to have their own platform and what they want to talk about. So it's worked for me, and it's really honestly what salvages me at the end of the day, because it makes it fun and makes me want to keep coming back and posting more, because I have that option of doing whatever I'm thinking about in the moment. If I want to talk about my shipping box that got destroyed because I'm mad, I can do that. If I want to talk about the latest publicized research on spinal cord injury, I can do that. So yeah, if I want to do a dance with my medical assistants because we need to blow off some steam, we do that. So yeah.
I love that. And I think that's, for anybody listening, I think you hit something that seems so simple that I think a lot of people don't realize. You have to sustain the content creation. So it's got to be something that you find joy in, because once it becomes more work, and if you're really just overthinking it, then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, it is. And so I see a lot of physicians and content creators in general just get burned out and get sick. And it's not a very nice environment at times. And it's, you get criticized for everything you do, no matter if you're a physician or if you post fashion content. Everyone's going to judge what you do, because that's what we as humans like to do. And so you have to do something that really wants to keep you coming back and keeps you happy. So, and happiness is the most important.
I love that. That's so good. You've inspired so many women to pursue maybe not only neurosurgery, but just healthcare in general. Do you have any stories that kind of stick out to you in your mind about people you've been able to influence in this really positive way through your expanded spheres?
I actually got goosebumps when he said it, because it's kind of crazy. I mean, you just think I'm sitting here in my office in Georgia in this rural town, and posting videos from my phone. And, I'll go places like get on a flight and I'm in New York City and have someone stop me in an airport and talk to me and like they know me and they do know me, from social media. And I've had people be like, hey, Dr. Grunch, I just wanted you to know that I went into neuroscience because I really loved what you do, or I am going through nursing school and you give me, the courage to keep going, or physical therapist, or whatever the case may be. It's not just about everyone wanting to be a neurosurgeon. It's just being about inspirational and kind of pursuing your dreams type energy, and it didn't even have to be medicine. I have teachers, lawyers, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing to me to think that we have this ability to reach so many people from just such a simple, I'm just going to pick up my phone and do a quick little video. It's cool. And I think on the opposite side of the coin, I mean, you have a way to really impact people in a negative way too. So if you come to socials and you express negativity and stuff like that, what is your worth, and what are you putting out there? And is it something that you think is really going to help people or be the better good? Then it just reaches so many people. And I think it's sometimes really hard to understand that. And when we're just in our own little silo. So
yes, I absolutely agree with everything that you said, 100%. And I think we could just share positivity, or if it's not for you, you just scroll on.
Keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling. All right. Being a woman in neurosurgery really probably has a whole different set of challenges. I think you shared some statistic about how many women, I remember from one of your posts, are in the field. Can you talk about how you've navigated this landscape personally?
Yeah, it's, any field that's kind of predominated by a certain, type of person, and you're not like them, whether it be race, gender, whatever the case may be, socioeconomic status, it's always hard because I think it's more of what you put on yourself more than like what others are thinking of you. And if you feel like you don't belong, sometimes you act like you don't belong, or you don't feel like that you should be here, this imposter syndrome, if you will. And it's hard to kind of push beyond that. You have to have like this greater mental challenge to kind of block that out and realize, hey, I do belong. I don't, just because they're all guys doesn't mean that I shouldn't be here, because I bring something different to the table. I'm me, and I'm just as smart as they are. I'm just as physically as capable as they are. And, I think being in that sphere is so important, bringing diversity to a field, especially in healthcare, for representation matters, not just for people seeing me being a woman in neurosurgery, but talking to my patients. I mean, patients may feel more comfortable with a female than a man, or a certain type, a younger person, an older person, whatever the case is. To increase the diversity in all spheres of healthcare is so important for patients to find a provider that they really connect with and get the care that they need. Or even some of them may not even come to the doctor if they don't have someone like them. And so I have so many people that come from, I'm one of the only females in the state of Georgia to practice medicine, to practice neurosurgery. And I have people come from hours away just because I'm a woman. I mean, I think that's kind of weird, but it makes them feel comfortable. And, that's, if I wasn't here, then what would their care be like, or what would their comfort level be like? So I just think it's, the more diverse that we can make any specialty, whether it be neurosurgery or something else, is really, really important. So
it's such a great perspective about bringing back to the patient and why that representation is so important, because they might have a different comfort level. Do you feel that now your patient population is a little bit different, because unlike ophthalmology, I mean, your patients are coming to you for different reasons. Do you feel that at least even your social media platforms starts by deepening that trust initially for patients and helps them get to the door?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas maybe they would just say, nope, I'm not going to the neurosurgeon. That sounds super scary.
Yeah, no, I think us breaking down topics on social media about complex things, and neurosurgery is probably about as complex as it can get in medicine, dealing with brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, back pain, but it's one of the most common things that we see. Everybody has back pain. So breaking down that knowledge base to know, hey, like not everybody's going to just cut me wide open when I walk in the door, that I can come in and have a real conversation with my provider about it. Now that I've seen Dr. Grunch show this video on how we treat this condition, I kind of have an idea in my head about what I might be directed to that may lead them to go see their provider more. And I've had people, like even other healthcare professionals, message me and say, hey, I just wanted you to know I watched your video and I was able to make this diagnosis because you explained it in a way that I could explain it to a patient. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Or, yeah, and like patients that, go and see, I'm not trying to attract more business to me. I don't need any more business, but, even go see their surgeon or just reach out for help. It's recognize symptoms that I talk about and know that it's real, or to know that it's validated, or maybe just going and get another opinion. I mean, being gaslit in healthcare is real, and being discriminated as patients is real. And sometimes, especially in pain patients, in our field, it's hard because patients that are in pain are challenging, but it's also very subjective. And so what I think I might see on an MRI and the patient's level of pain can correlate so differently. So you can have a minor looking MRI, a patient's severe pain, and you might have a surgeon be like, I don't know why they're in so much pain, they're crazy. But it's, to have a provider that really can engage in the patient's care and understand that not every patient's pain level is going to be same for a particular problem is important. Having a provider that can really engage in understanding them and maybe getting another opinion on what problem they may have can impact their life. I mean, you might have someone that had a problem, saw a doctor, they were told that they shouldn't, maybe they got the message that it's all in their head, but then they could live the rest of their life like that and live with this pain. Or if I encourage them to go get another opinion and they got help from someone that maybe understood it in a different fashion, it's so cool. It's really gives us, that's the reason why it's so important for physicians that are educated to put themselves out there on social media.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can impact worldwide, right? I'm sure you're getting messages. Where do I find a neurosurgeon in this city, that city, right?
Yeah.
People.
Singapore, India. I don't know.
Like I might not know anybody there.
No,
but...
I don't know. Yeah.
But I love that. And I think it's just broadening the reach and educating just on a more global stage, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. Have you felt that your social media journey has affected the way that you interact with your patients, has changed the way that you are a physician?
Absolutely. It's changed me as a person, which is really corny to say, but I mean, you know how it is because you've been on there, but it really makes people commenting on what you say really helps you understand how you portray a message and makes it your ability to relay that a second time around so much better. So if I say something to one person, they may not want to tell me back to my face, but I put something out there on social media in front of millions of people and I get all this feedback that's maybe unsolicited, not what I want to hear. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I did say it that way. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And so I think it's really helped me become a better educator, become really cognizant of how I say things, become a better person and relay our message, in a better way the next time around and the third and fourth time around. And it just really, I think it just helps us understand how people interpret us, and it's good. So
that's inspiring, and that self-reflection I don't think everybody has, so I think that's what makes you really different than everyone else too on so many levels. What advice would you give specifically young women who are considering a demanding surgical specialty as a career?
I think the best advice I can give is listen to your heart and your passion. It's so easy to let that outside noise in and to let one person's thoughts really perpetuate what you think. And it's just like posting something on socials. Like you can get 1,000 positive comments and get one negative comment, and all you focus on is the negative comment. And that's kind of how
But
it
it's
is
not
when,
just me.
yeah, no, I do it. I do it all the time. And it's like, why am I doing this to myself? So it's the same thing. Like, I want to be a surgeon, and you'll have 100 people like, yay, you could do it. And you'll have that one person be like, well, you're never going to have a family. And you'll be like, well, maybe I can't have a family. Why am I doing this? So just know that all those feelings are normal. Feeling these self-doubts is normal. But the biggest thing is finding something that you feel passionate about and can sustain the rest of your life doing that will bring you happiness, and don't let what anyone else's opinions of that specialty or field bring to you, because you can do anything. You can be president of the United States, you can be a neurosurgeon, you can be an astronaut and have a family and have a happy life. And just, having the confidence in yourself to be able to know that you can do it is so important. To know there's so many more other people out there that's done it, and you just gotta focus on you.
I love that. And speaking of your family, how do they view all of this? You're being a neurosurgeon, the social media, and how do you, this is a question I sometimes simultaneously hate, but I think is also really important. How do you make your work and life fit? I don't like to use the word work-life balance, but how do you integrate your work and your life?
It's about really filling all your cups. So like, we get so much pleasure from work and family and, whatever other things are in your life that bring you happiness. And it's trying to find that balance, like you said, but also like understand that not every day is going to be a balance. Sometimes I feel like a really badass surgeon, but a crappy mom because maybe I got home really late, but I helped somebody, walk again. But I stayed in the OR until 9:00 at night, and I didn't get to see my kids. So, my cup over here is this tall, but over here it's this big. But the next day, it'll be the opposite. Maybe I, didn't do a good job. Maybe I had a surgical complication. I feel horrible about it. And then, but I succeeded over here or whatever. So you'll have those highs and lows. And as long as it over time balances out, like, if you have so many good days on the surgery side and so many bad days on the family side, it may be time to take a step back and really refocus. And how can I change that? What can I do to make it better? And I've been through that particular example. And I said, you know what? I need to take a little bit more reins of my schedule to make sure that I'm not overbooking myself. Or maybe I need to, have my last patient of the day at this time so I can make sure I'm done with my work and get home. And you have the right to do that. We often think that healthcare can be a constant suck. There will always be people that need your help. There is never going to be a lack of sick patients. And I think it took me so long to realize that I can't, the more I give, the more people will take. And if it keeps taking from me, then I'm going to be a skeleton, and I can't give my all to these patients if I'm not giving my all to myself. So it's a lot of self-reflection and trying to understand how that balance. I don't have it perfect. You don't have it perfect. None of us do, but we learn more as we do it. And you just keep going. I don't know.
No, that's it. And it's honest. That's real. It's also why I don't like the word work-life balance, because it's never balanced. In a single day, it's never balanced. You're fitting and you're integrating, you're harmonizing, you're doing the best that you can. So I love what you said. And it's such a great way to close out the episode. All right. One final thing. This is what we ask all our Pinnacle guests. What is one Pinnacle pearl that you would want to share with other women in medicine?
Ooh, that's a good one. I really think that the best pearl that I can give is just being you. So authenticity is so important, and it's kind of, I think, one of the things that makes you you. It sets you, you're so different than the next person beside you, and putting yourself out there and realizing that it's okay to be different than the next person, and really just kind of embracing that. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to not everyone is going to love you. And particularly as women, we all want to be liked. We all want to be, feeling like everyone just really wants to embrace 100% of that, but it's not reality. Not every single person is going to like you, and that maybe because they don't like themselves. And I think the quicker you realize that and just continue to be you and what attracts people to you is that, and then what doesn't, just let it go. I mean, we can only be us, and that makes this life, career, home, whatever the case, work and be more, give you less risk of burnout. And I just think that just kind of, and whether that, if you're a content creator too, just really kind of making you what makes you, embracing what makes you you is so important. It's going to bring patients to you. You may not have patients that want to come to you because of that, but that's not the kind of, patient-physician relationship you need. You need someone that trusts you for what you bring to the table. And yeah, I mean, that's about all I got to say.
I love it. Okay. Share where people can find you if they don't already follow you.
I am at Lady Spine Doc on almost all platforms. So yeah, I love posting, like you said, a little bit about everything: physician life, mom life, my own personal life. It's fun. Yeah, if anyone has any specific questions for me, you can always reach out to me over DM or email. And yeah, thanks for having me today, Rupa. It's been fun.
Thanks so much, Betsy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Pinnacle Podcast, where we strive to elevate the voices of women in medicine and inspire excellence across the healthcare landscape. Until next time, keep reaching for your pinnacle.